Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, buckle your seatbelts. Today we're talking about the cost of living adjustment you're gonna see for your FERS pension if you are about to retire or already retired as a FERS federal employee. Buckle up, you're gonna wanna hear what we're talking about today. Now, this will also apply to Social Security, so just keep that in mind as well. Now, if you are new here, welcome. It is so good to have you. My name is Dallin Hawes. I'm a financial planner who serves federal employees just like you every single day to help you guys get the most out of your benefits and retire confident. Let's dive right in. Now, before we get into the numbers of what I expect your cost of living adjustment to be for at the end of this year, which it'll be announced in October. And because it's not announced yet, it will be announced in October. Like I said, this is just an educated guess. We don't actually know. So don't come back in October like, oh, Dallin, you told me this and that. No, just hang on, calm down. This is just an educated guess on where things are going to be. And can things change? Of course, things change so rapidly nowadays. But again, this is my guess, okay? So bear that in mind. Now, this is how the cost of living adjustment is calculated, okay? Let me give you a sense for how they do it. Basically, what the government does is they look at something called the CPI-W. Okay, if you Google CPI-W, it's an index that tracks basically inflation is what their goal is, right? And as that index increases, that means prices are increasing. So what they do is the only 3 months of the year they look at to determine your cost of living adjustment for your pension and Social Security is they look at the third quarter, okay? So that's July, August, and September. And they look at those months as, okay, what are the average, what is inflation? What are the prices at that point, okay? So for 2023, this is what they're gonna do. They're going to compare 2022, the third quarter 2022 numbers to the third quarter of 2023. And if prices have increased, okay, basically if prices are higher in the third quarter 2023 than they were in the third quarter of 2022, then boom, there's going to be some sort of cost of living adjustment. That's how it works. Now, spoiler alert, prices in the third quarter of 2022 were relatively high. Okay, there was a pretty good peak right at that time in July, August, September when it comes to CPI-W. Okay, so the odds that this third quarter prices are going to be higher than that, we don't know for sure again, but my guess is that they're probably not. And if they are, they won't be by very much. So my guess, right, my educated guess is that the cost of living adjustment might be zero. And if it's not zero, it's probably going to be close to zero. But again, we'll see. We do not know, but that again is my educated guess. Now, if you're a FERS employee, not CSRS, you folks have different COLAs, but for FERS employees, you know that you don't actually get the full cost of living adjustment. So for example, let's say the CPI-W, basically the COLA, what inflation was, let's say it's 4%. Well, does your pension go up by 4%? The answer is no. As you know, or as you maybe don't know, as a FERS federal employee, you get what they call diet COLA, okay? Again, that's not the official term, but that's what a lot of people call it. Basically, this is how it works. If inflation is 2% or less, you get the entire cost of living adjustment. You get the 2% or whatever it is of cost of living adjustment. That's how it works. However, if the inflation increased by, let's say, 2 to 3%, then you get 2%, okay? You get 2%. If inflation increased more than 3%, you get whatever inflation was minus 1%. So if inflation was 5%, your pension's only going to increase by 4%. That's how it works, okay? So again, as a FERS federal employee, if inflation is over 2%, you don't get the exact amount of increase that inflation had. You get a slightly less amount. Now, it's close. It's not that big of a deal, but just you have to go in knowing that's what it's going to do, okay? Now, also another hiccup, as a FERS federal employee, you know you don't actually get cost of living adjustments until 62. Now, of course, the rules for you special provision folks, you firefighters, air traffic controllers, law enforcement, the rules are different for you, but for traditional FERS employees, you do not get a cost of living adjustment at all until 62. I'm not sure why. That's just how the rules are set up. So if you retire at 57, you've got 5 years with no cost of living adjustment. So you want to pray and hope that inflation is low during those 5 years for you. So if you just retired the last few years, not a great time, okay? Still, you'll be fine as long as you have some wiggle room in your plan, but not a good time because prices have increased a lot and your pension hasn't increased at all. And once you hit 62, they're not going to give you basically back pay for the inflation they missed. No, they're just going to start giving you inflation based on the current years moving forward at 62. So that's how it works. Again, this is just my educated guess on what I think the COLA is going to be. I think it's going to basically be zero. Now, keep this in mind. If your pension, let's say, doesn't get a cost of living adjustment, or your Social Security doesn't get a cost of living adjustment, okay, but what increases almost every single year? Health insurance premiums, FEHB premiums, Medicare premiums, right? Those things will increase. So if your pension or Social Security doesn't increase, but Medicare premiums and FEHB premiums go up, that means your net pension, what you actually take home, might go down. Now, again, you want to have wiggle room in your plan so that these sort of things happen in retirement. They happen. So if you don't have any wiggle room, that's when it's stressful. You want to make sure your plan makes sense before getting into retirement, ideally, so that when these sort of things happen, you've got the margin in your plan to take care of it. So I hope that's helpful. Good luck. We'll see. I'll keep you updated as we get closer to October, what things are looking like when it comes to the cost of living adjustment. Good luck with everything, guys. There's tons of resources in the description below that'll help you out as a federal employee. I'll see you guys next time.